Wichita, Kansas.
Got it. Yeah. Well, I guess that's how we start. We're rolling. We're all good. You're all good?
Yeah,
it's cool. Let's rock and roll, dude. Well, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been an absolute pleasure to just be in your life the last couple of years.
Thanks, man. We go in high risk. We go to high risk doctor, and we're there, and he goes, "Hey, I'm looking at some stuff. I'm kind of concerned with some shadowing and some." John Maxwell, like the GOAT, man. He's the best coach, mentor you could ever imagine. I could text John Maxwell, and he responds to me, right? Like he did a keynote about me on stage.
That was great. Cool. Awesome stuff, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks, dude.
Oh, appreciate you.
Yeah.
Bobby, you want to grab the Polaroid? We take a Polaroid after
Yes.
3, 2, 1.
Just filmed a podcast with Antonio, and man, it was really good. It's the longest podcast I've ever been on. I think we were about almost an hour and a half. I can't wait for it to come out because we covered everything. It was like just really cool. You know, most of the time you're on a podcast, they cover this one segment of your life, but this was like all of it. So it's gonna be really fun. I'm signing books. We got some here, but a ton over there. So we got 100 books that we're going to sign to give to attendees tomorrow when we speak on stage. Yeah, lots of signing to do, but we'll get through it. We sign more, and then we're going to head downstairs for a little bit, kind of check out the event, walk through, look at the venue, maybe see the stage. Let's get comfortable so we know where we're supposed to go tomorrow.
Let's go. Okay. So, I'm with Freedom Mortgage. I'm executive director.
What's up, brother? I did not see you today. Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
I did not see you today.
Had some recruiting meetings.
Oh, nice.
And,
So we just got to the Rose and Shingle Creek from Tampa where we did a podcast this morning. And tomorrow we'll be on stage at 1 o'clock here to share the One Jordan strategy, how to connect and how to be unique in any market. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
Hey, man.
I saw you on the list. I'm like, I will be there.
Oh, well, thanks, brother. I appreciate that, man. Thanks, man.
Making changes.
Oh, yeah, it's way different than what I do with you guys.
I haven't heard.
Nope. Way different. It's a lot more storytelling about how I got to the point of doing the Jordan and then the results at the end. Instead of just, way different. Yeah. It's about being unique and being different in the marketplace. Everybody does the same videos, the same scripts. I'm going to show you a little something different. So we're actually getting ready to watch Chris Vincent go on, who's a great friend of ours and a big advocate for what we do. I'm really excited to see him share his playbook and some of the personal stories about being in the mortgage industry. So we just finished watching Chris Vincent on stage, and again, like usual, tons of great content. He's such an incredible storyteller, and he tells this story about a lemonade stand that if you haven't heard it yet, please follow him and check it out. One of the best stories on the planet. Now, I gotta get ready to speak. I'm gonna run downstairs real quick, grab an energy drink, get mic'd up, and get on stage. Junior, my man, how you doing, brother?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good to see you, brother.
Yeah,
Good to see you,
good,
man.
man.
Yeah. You making it happen?
Yeah, a lot of happen, you know? A lot of happen, you know, so I'm happy.
Good, man. I love to hear that, brother. You ready to go on stage? I don't know, maybe 100 people in the room, but we'll treat it like there's 1,000 people here.
Our next speaker at 1 o'clock is Chris Welton. Chris is the presenter. We're glad to have him. He is the author of the One Jordan strategy. So without further ado, Chris, welcome. Please come up.
Life isn't just about what happens. It's about how you respond.
I remember being a kid and wanting to be part of the cool group. You know what I mean? Like everybody wants to be the cool kid. You want to dress like the cool kids. talk like the cool kids, look like the cool kids. And that's all we did, right? We wanted to blend in. We wanted to be part of that. And I can remember, like, back when I had hair, getting a haircut like everybody else had, right? In my day, we had those tails, the rat tail we'd wear. And I would try to wear the same shoes and the same jeans, and the same t-shirts, because I thought that was what defined me as being cool. And I look around our industry today, and I see a lot of the same things going on for a lot of people in this room or in the mortgage industry and real estate space. We're trying to be like that guy we see on social media, like that person who's killing it with scripts in a certain market. I was talking with someone earlier, and I said, one of the biggest things I ever realized in the mortgage space that made people disappear really quickly, and don't shake your head and raise your hand if you did this, because I don't want to know, I know you already know you did it. If you posted a video that said, marry the house, date the rate. Marry the house, date the rate. It was cool the first 200 LOs that did it. And then it became on every page there was. And then you just started blending in with everybody else, saying the same things, hoping to get the same results. But I show up and I'm different. And that's why I've been able to win at a super high level, especially over the last couple years. Now, the cool thing about being me is, none of you are gonna get on stage and put your arm in your shirt and try to act like Chris Welton. So I got you, right? It's not gonna happen, right? But maybe you'll take something you've learned from me and make it your own. Because I'm a student of the industry, I'm a student of speaking, I'm a student of the mortgage base, and I'm definitely a student of life. And when I look at the things that I've learned from different people, I combine them and all into my own thing. And I go out in the world to try to be unique. I share this Jordan strategy with you. We're gonna go to some more results from it here in a minute, but the truth is it's never really about a shoe. It was about creating a list of people I wanted to meet and compress time, because I left my dream job at 51 years old. So I had to compress my time because I wanted to build something really special. I didn't have 50 years to build something. So it was my way of being unique. It was my way of connecting people on a different level. And I can tell you, I built multiple relationships from sending out that shoe. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna write a book. I'm really good at being me. So get really good at being you and get laser focused on where it is you wanna go. Come up with your one Jordan strategy, or that thing that'll open the door for you. Because what I realized was, it wasn't about the rooms that one Jordan got me in, it was the person I became when I went into those rooms. You're one Jordan away from changing everything. Thank you.
Who would call me and ask me to ask anything that you would want on stage? Questions like, only Chris Welton. And then he's like, no, you can ask me anything you want.
First question, Chris, is I hear all these things. I hear about the Jordan, I hear about the stories, but sharing some pain along this way in this journey, like getting to this spot.
Yeah.
What do you think was or is the hardest lesson you had to learn that could help us as an originator?
So a personal lesson or a business lesson?
Whatever you think is the hardest.
Oh, well, I mean, the toughest lesson I ever learned was when I lost my son CJ in July of 2020. And I don't know how many religious people are in here, but I had to repair my relationship with God after that. So for me, the toughest lesson was that he needed my son more than I did. And I had to accept that. I didn't have a choice. So learning that lesson that there's a higher power that controls more things than I can, and that sometimes you won't agree with what they do, but they have your best interest at hand.
Wow. What did you learn coaching your students in 2025? Like, what was a big takeaway or a common thing or something that you learned? Because I think in the coaching side of things, we learn a lot through our students, right?
Yeah.
And what were some things, maybe it's one, maybe it's two, whatever it is, what did you learn in 2025 coaching your students? Because you had a lot of success.
Yeah, we have.
You produced a lot of great $100 million producers, which I think is credit to your program. But what was some lessons for you as the coach?
That there's not a big difference between a guy who does 100 million and someone who does 20. And one of the guys that I coached told me, I asked him, what was the biggest difference? What do you think for you? And he said, I'm consistently consistent.
Yeah.
Like, I show up whether I want to or not, and I do the work, and I don't give myself a pass to get out of it. So I'd say the biggest lesson is that it's really not that big of a transition from where you are now to where you want to be. It really just comes down to consistency and showing up every day.
There's not a big difference in the person, though.
No. I mean, there's really not. Like I don't coach Tony Robbins, guys. Like, a lot of these guys are great, just people that show up and they follow a process and they listen. There's that too. The $100 million producer listens to me way more than the guy who does 12 million and wants to argue with me about whatever. The $100 million guys show up to the calls and they're ready to do the work. The homework is turned in. There's no arguing about anything. And they're ready to go. They get on a call, they've made a financial investment, and they're ready to go to work. But when you get up in the morning, like, I don't want to get out of bed, I don't want to do anything, it's raining, it's cold here for you Floridians, this is super cold. I don't want to go do anything. But you still got to show up. And the ones that show up continue to win. And I like it when people go, man, he sure got lucky, didn't he? Like, I had a guy say to me one time, and Greg Matthews isn't here in the room, but this was about Greg. The guy goes, have you seen Greg? Man, he sure is lucky. I'm like, brother, Greg Matthews has been showing up since 3rd grade, right? Like, and that's why he did 80 million this year, right? So, like, but that's it, is making sure my standard outweighs my feelings, not letting the badness in my head get to it. And Deion Sanders said something that's really cool. He said, I've never had a bad day in my life. I've had a bad hour, but never a bad day. You make that decision that if it's going to be a bad day, right? It's up to you. You make that decision. I'm not going to make my calls today because I just had a bad day. I deserve it. Well, your family deserves for you to make those calls, right? If my standard is to reflect on what my family is important to them, then I'm going to do it.
So 2026 is a new year, and I know we haven't talked about it, but I'm pretty excited about it. What are some tactics that you're going to coach in 2026 to originators that maybe we could get an inside look to implement early?
Yeah, so the first thing is, I don't have a one-size-fits-all coaching, right? So, like, every one of my client calls are different. So if you listen to the 12 client calls I would do in a week, they're all different calls. But a lot of them have similar frameworks. And one of the things right now we talk a lot about is I rather have 50 people in my database or my portfolio that I know or 5,000 people that I don't. So 2026 is the year of relationships in the mortgage space, right? And if you've neglected them like everybody else has, do a apology tour, get back into relationships with people, know who these people are, and build relationships with them. And if it's only 10 people in your database that you become friends with and know more about them, that's a start. And then what do we do with those 10? Who do you know that I should know, right? And then you build it from there. But understanding that the basics of your success is relationships, and you've done nothing to grow them with people who've done business with you before, that's tough. Yeah. So go back there and build relationships. And if you got to start over with your database, then do it. But make sure you have a great relationship with them. You understand who they are, right? Then you become the referable source for everything they do. I started selling cars in 1992. The first customer I ever sold a car to was a guy named Smokey Clayton. I sold him a Dodge diesel truck. Okay? All right, Smokey's 84 years old now. How do I know? Because he called me last week and asked me if I could help him negotiate a deal on a truck. Okay? And then his wife called me a little bit later and said he lost his license 2 years ago, Chris, he can't drive. So that's a whole other conversation. But I share that with you because I built a relationship with a guy in 1992.
Wow.
Right? It's 2026. He still won't buy a car unless he calls me, and I haven't been in the car business in decades. Right? Who's your Smokey Clayton? Who have you done a deal with that calls you for everything? That trusts you so much, they want you to refer them to somebody else.
You talked a lot about the Jordan. And you talked about, one thing that really speaks out to me when I hear your stories of the Jordan is standing out. And I know you're good at that.
Yeah.
For us, sometimes we look at, how do I stand out? And maybe I do, and maybe I don't have a budget for Jordans, but what would be some tactics that I could go back and implement here in January to stand out as an LO in this market?
Well, I think the first thing is you stand out by being yourself.
Yeah.
By being yourself. And it costs you $0 to be who you are, right? It costs you $0 to post on Instagram or Facebook or whatever that is. It costs you $0 to email somebody with your voice, who you are, to follow up or text message them. So I think that's the first part. But the next part is, I did this strategy when I was an LO in the early 2000s with a book called Time Traps that a guy named Todd Duncan wrote, which I talked to Todd's good friend the other day. And I said, tell Todd to write a new version of that because we need a new version of it because it was such a timeless piece in that industry. And I would take Time Traps and I found my list of people I wanted to talk to. And I wrote this handwritten note and it said, please accept this book as a gift and a $20 bill for your time for reading this letter. I'm gonna call you at 3 o'clock on Thursday and tell you how Time Traps changed my life. And I sent these books out. I'd been in the mortgage business like 8 minutes when I did that, like brand new. But I sent it to the biggest builders in town. And before you know it, I became a preferred lender at one of the biggest custom home builders in the market. Why? Because I sent it to his sales agent. And she couldn't believe what a strategy that was. The only thing I did wrong when that whole deal was I didn't send enough of them out. Why? Because I was afraid of being rejected. But it's not a lot different than the one Jordan, right? It's just being different and making, the world rewards bold people, right? Rewards the bold and the courageous. If you're here today, you took time out of your schedule to learn to be great. Go teach what you learned, right?
Yeah.
Teach something different. Everybody, look, all right, so if I offend anybody on this, I'm not going to apologize, but if I offend you, I offend you on it. If all you're thinking about doing is I'm going to do some first-time home buyer clinics this year, shame on you. And the reason why is because most people who do first-time home buyer clinics are because they don't have enough faith in themselves to go do the big boy clinics, right? Non-Dells or non-QM stuff or jumbo stuff or meet with financial advisors. Because if I mess up talking to new home buyers, they don't know. You mess up talking to anybody they don't know, guys. They don't do mortgage. And a no from a first-time home buyer hurts as much as a no from a guy who's managing $10 million or $100 million as a financial advisor. So why not go after that guy? Rejection's the same. It hurts the same. A no's a no, right? Like, I don't have a picture right now, but I could show you my wife, and she's a 12, and I used to date 7s because I couldn't think I could get a 12, and I was like, I'm gonna try to date a 12 one time. And she said yes. So a no is a no. From a 7 or 12, it's the same no. So why not go for a 12?
Yeah. I was going to ask him, what is the best sale you've ever made? He just answered it.
Oh, by far.
Right? You got his what?
Yeah.
Hey, we want to know, who's the scariest person for you on your new list today? Or scariest? Okay, so that would be the way Chris would look at it. But like, what do you think is the hardest to connect to on your list today, and why?
Well, the person that's been on my list the longest is that person.
Okay.
It's Dana White.
Oh, okay.
So, and the crazy thing is, I have multiple people in my circle that I can call right now that know Dana White personally, have fought for Dana White, are friends with Dana White. But for some reason, none of them will get the shoe size. They won't do it. So I will get it. Like, I'm going to be somewhere with Dana. It's going to happen. And I'm going to ask him his shoe size, which is awesome because I asked Ed Milet's shoe size. He's like, 10 and a half. Why you asking me that? But Dana White's been on my list forever, and he will be until I connect with him. But none of them scare me.
Okay.
But he's the one that's been the hardest to connect with. So if any of you have Dana White's number in the room, give me a shoe size, please.
I think challenge accepted. If I get Dana's shoe size for him, I'm gonna feel like I did something. So like challenge accepted.
Yeah.
How do you overcome fear? I just watch you, listen to you. I'm like, does he have fear? So I'm just like, in that real moment, how do you overcome it?
Of course I do. Tons of fear, but the way I look at fear is I look at it the same way as I do adversity.
Okay.
Right. So fear and adversity to me, I've become one and the same. And I have a new book coming out later this year called Adversity is the Assignment. And there'll be a lot more of it on there. But I do this thing called the Adversity Accelerator. And you saw me probably on stage, on the video, me doing high rocks. High rocks is like one of the toughest physical competitions in the world you can do. So at 53 with one arm, I decided to go do it. And I fell on the 7th round. There's 8 rounds. I fell and I'm laying on the ground. And I was not afraid of not finishing. All I could think about was what a great story this was going to make when I did cross the finish line, right? So am I afraid of things? Yeah, I mean, my worst fear is losing my son, like my 2-year-old Leo. That's the worst fear on the planet. But anything else, I'm not, I guess because I've been through so much crazy crap, I'm not afraid of certain things. But I do, adversity and fear kind of relate to me, like how do I do that? So I put myself in tough spots consistently, physically, to prepare myself for the next time when life blindsides me, right? So, and for me, it's physical challenges. And I do things that are crazy, right? Like Jason ran the David Goggins challenge with me, which is run 4 hours every 4 hours for 48 hours. And then, so Jason ran with me in one of the legs. And then I turned 50 that week, so I did 2 more miles. But I do those things because now if life blindsides me, I'm like, man, you ain't the Goggins challenge. You're not high rocks. Like what do you got from me? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Last question. I know we got just under a minute left, but what's coaching with you like? And if I'm interested in getting in with coaching, like how do I connect to you? Because I think coaching will change people's lives, change mine.
For sure, mine too.
And what's that look like? And I guess I want to say, how's your program different?
I mean, my program's different mainly because in the VIP realm, I work one-on-one. You get me. You don't get a bunch of other clients, a bunch of other coaches. And then in my group, I run myself too. So you don't get a lot of other people. You get Chris Welton. So I would say that's part of it. Somebody asked me the other day what my style was.
Yeah.
I was like, no one's ever asked me that. So I say that I'm an empathetic, accountable coach because chances are what you're going through, I've been there before, right? Or something similar, but I'm going to hold your ass accountable to get through the next spot. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not going to yell and scream at you, but I'm hoping that you got enough friends. I know I do. And we get after it, man. We get after it. And if you want to know more, the best thing to do is to follow me on Instagram, which is one hand at a time for obvious reasons. And shoot me a DM and says, hey, I want to know more. And then I can have my assistant reach out to you and we can schedule a call to do that. I am going to be sitting over here. I brought 100 books with me, signed books to give away. It is a lead magnet, just so you know. You have to scan the QR code to get the book for free because Trevor taught me that. But would love to meet everybody when I get a chance.
That's cool. How cool is Chris Welton? Give him a round. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Paul. Okay, cool. Appreciate it.
Hopefully I warmed him up.
So I'm gonna give you the best 13 minutes.
Take a selfie with with you?
Yeah, sure.
My flight is at 4 o'clock. Thank you.
I'm on the corporate team. I'm the corporate partner. Just got off stage at NAMB here in Orlando. Had an amazing time. Now we got a line waiting for us to come and sign some books. I felt like I really had an impact on the crowd and can't wait to get on stage again. Now, I do have another talk coming up very soon at MortgageCon. It's a keynote you've never seen before.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
What's up, man?
What's going on, brother?
Just a good rest of the